y'all, my name is Nadia. Welcome back to the channel. I am a mama to 5 kiddos, 3 which are going to be school age. So I have a 3rd grader, a kindergartner, but she's more of like a rising 1st grader, and then preschool. So that is what I'm planning for. I decided to make this video because I remember when I started homeschooling, I was pretty overwhelmed with planning. But I feel like I have a few years now under my belt of experience. This is going to be kind of like my 4th year doing planning for the homeschool year and homeschooling. So I thought I would share some tips with you guys and take you through the process of planning, and hopefully it won't be as overwhelming to you guys. Okay, because I know it was very overwhelming to me. So first, I have some resources in front of me, but let's start off with the first one. That is getting a very good planner that works for you. Now, this is going to take some trial and error, or maybe not. Maybe you're just, exactly what you're looking for and you'll go for it. So this is mine. I actually created this one and I'm not selling it just yet because I'm working out some imperfections. But there is the Vance paper. They're pricey. So if you're willing to go that route, just know that they are pricey. And then I believe her name is, what is the website name? Our Cooper Nest. She has a very good, affordable planners that are really high quality, and I really like her designs. And then, you can just look up on Amazon, there's a bunch of them. But those two I really like, and if I didn't have my own, I would definitely go with one of those, the Vance paper or the Cooper's Nest. So the first thing is to get a planner, okay? So we're gonna start with yearly planning. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is print off a yearly outlook of all the months for the year. So for me, I have the first day of school here. I'm gonna be doing it a little bit different this year and actually highlighting the days that we're gonna be schooling and then the weeks that we plan on taking vacation or holidays or whatnot. So you wanna start off with that. First, you wanna decide on which day you're gonna start schooling. We kind of school year round. We take a couple weeks off during the summer, but what our family does is we do a sabbatical school year. So we do 6 weeks of school, 1 week of break. So the whole entire year like that until we are done with the school year, and then we take off sometimes a month, sometimes less. So this time we're taking off 3 weeks, and that is going to be plenty of time. But the weeks in between, I highly recommend doing it if you want, because for me as a mama, as a teacher, it really gives me that time to rest and relax and really not burn out. So highly recommend it. This past last school year was the first year I implemented that, and it benefited me so much. And I think it's also great for the children to just enjoy some rest and kind of rest their brains and let their energies out as much as their little hearts desire. Okay, so those are the first things you want to do. Get a planner, figure out your first day and your last days. Then you're going to go into your planner, figure out which days you're going to take off. Maybe you have some days that you are already planned that you're going to take vacation or whatnot. And then we are going to move into the goals. So what I want, I don't have it in here. I have it in my other journal. You want to look at your overview goals. So long-term goals is what I want to say here. And this is going to be helpful. You might think like, oh, what does this have to do with yearly planning? Well, actually a lot. It makes you see where you want to put your focus. So what is your goal for homeschooling your children? Is there something a career path that you're maybe high schoolers wanting to look into? Or is it that you want to graduate your children sooner? All that you want to keep in mind when you're planning your yearly curriculum and yearly planning for how you're going to do school. So say if you have a high schooler and this high schooler wants to become a lawyer, right? You can intentionally, with that in mind, say in 4 years, she wants to go study law. Then you can start now preparing her for that and signing her up for different kinds of debates and maybe visiting a firm and watching documentaries. So obviously if your kids are little, you're not gonna have the high picture, overall picture of like what their career path is or whatnot, but you do have an overall goal of what you want your child to accomplish by the end of their whole school time with you. So I like to write those out. Then I go in, and so I actually have it right here. Let me see if I can blur their names out. So, okay, there we go. So we have it right here. Then I set goals for myself. As the mother teacher, I set goals for each one of my school children. And then I actually go to my school children and ask them what their goals are for the school year and what they would like to learn. So I do those things before I do any planning whatsoever. So from the yearly planning, I start opening my curriculums, and I use this as a guide. This is home learning year by year. So I go switch to the grade that I'm doing this upcoming year, so 3rd grade, and it has a very good kind of basic guideline of what a child at that grade level should be learning. I believe this is up to high school, yeah. So I then start looking through my curriculums. I decide which curriculum I want to use, and I check how many lesson plans they have. Now, then I start working by term. So there's 3 terms in a school year. This is from last year. This is term 1. So I open an Excel. Usually, first of all, this starts all in this journal right here. So starts in a journal. I say, okay, so for here, example here is Bible, right? What would I like to accomplish with the Bible curriculum throughout the whole entire year? Then I divide it into the 3 terms. And then from there, I decide what lesson plans need to be roughly accomplished within that term 1. And I start breaking it down from week by week. So here I have 11 weeks with 1 week for exam. And I like this because it keeps me on track. Now, one thing I want to say is I keep this loosely, okay? Because if I kept this to the very dot and then if I don't accomplish it, my perfectionism is gonna hurt me and I'm gonna really struggle. But for the most part, it works really well. We stick to the plan. I'm kind of outlining stuff. So for Bible, it's say Old Testament Creation Week, and then New Testament. What do we have for New Testament here? Luke. So we're reading Luke, and then Bible devotions, Proverbs, recitation. So for recitation, I just wrote I said motto and chosen recitation. So I don't actually write the verse that we're learning in here. And then memory work, I write in what we're memorizing. And then geography, and all I write for geography is 2 lessons a week. So as you can see, it's not super detailed, but this is a really good outline to get me started. From there, I move on to monthly planning. So I go to our monthly planner. All right, so with the monthly planner, I start off writing all the things that I know that we have for that month. So Russian classes that we have, practices, games that they have, Bible classes, birthdays. I write it all in here. If I have any appointments, I write it all in here. That way it'll help me. Say Wednesday, my son has a dentist appointment, so I know that make that day a little bit lighter. All right, so from there on, I move into my weekly plan. So in the beginning of the school year last year, I started off with writing all my lesson pages out and everything that we need to do. But towards the end of the year, I started doing reverse planning, which is you write in what you accomplished that day. Now, it depends week by week, season by season as to what I'm gonna choose to do and what maybe you should choose. I do really like planning ahead. So sitting down Sunday night, and I will look through, first I'll grab this. I will look through this and I'll say, okay, well, we gotta read this week through Genesis 2. So I'll look, see if we have any appointments that week, then I'll schedule it out and see which days I can fit in more or less and kind of work around with that. And then I fill in all our other lessons, and I fill in on this specific planner, I filled out our meals, our appointments, and just kind of get a really good look at our week. Now, before we move on, you really want to figure out your daily rhythm. So this is just planning everything that you're gonna do. Next, I want to have a very good and established daily plan. So I have rough drafts from last year. I eventually do type them out. So here's a really rough draft. See, I was figuring out which days we would do what. Let me show you this one. So we also like to loop subjects. So that's gonna be something you decide whether you're gonna be doing or not, whether you're gonna do loop subjects or what kind of subjects you're gonna do that day, if you're gonna do unit studies or how you're gonna do your school. We like to do loop subjects. So right here I had morning basket, and so on that we read Bible, book, poem and stuff, and then prayer, hymn, and recitation. And then we do our daily core, which is math, reading, and writing. And then we loop our subjects right here. So Monday was geography, Tuesday was American history, and Thursday was science and Bible. So that is how I do that. Then from this, I have another piece of paper in the kitchen that will say breakfast, morning basket, chores, and then the kids will have a break, and then we'll start doing all of this. So this really helps. This is somewhere where I can always see it so that I know what is coming next. And then my daily planner is what I use to make sure we get everything accomplished on a daily basis. Now, I want to give you a couple tips. Is that you want to reevaluate in the beginning of every month and in the beginning of the week is what my tips would be. Because reevaluating, you're making sure if lessons are being caught up on, maybe you need to catch up on something this week. And I'm constantly referring to this. Every week I start my plan, I am referring to this to make sure we're keeping on track. All right, so that is it for this video. I hope it was helpful, and I hope it helps you in your journey with homeschooling this upcoming year.